Good morning, folks. It's time for another episode of Storytime with Nick. Today's story is entitled Renovations and Shenanigans. So, to give you a bit of context on the start of this story, in my old house, there was 4 floors. There was the basement, the first floor, the second floor, and then the attic. So in the basement, in these days, lived my grandparents. On the first floor, we had a tenant. Her name was Debbie. And then on the second floor was us, and we had control of the attic. So in 2009, Debbie had decided to move out. I don't know where she moved, the specifics of that. She never told us. She just said, me and my husband are leaving. We're going to blah, blah, blah. And we got her out. We did this, we did that. And eventually she was on her way out. So that left the first floor open. And my grandparents decided, we were getting kind of tired of living down in the basement anyway. There's not a lot to do here. So we had the bright idea to move my grandparents up to the first floor. And that actually worked out really nicely because we were planning to renovate our floor anyway, at least the rear section, which was the kitchen and the living room, and we eventually decided to renovate the attic too. But the attic ended up coming first, and the kitchen and my area ended up coming second. But so there was also the first floor, which we ended up doing too. So Debbie moved out winter of 2009, rolling into 2010, and we started the renovations in spring 2010. First, we did the attic. Now, at this point, we had Kobe. And if I haven't said it before, Kobe peed a lot on everything, especially carpets. He loved to pee on that carpet. So we decided that the attic was end-to-end carpet, except in the bathroom, which was on the attic. Yes, the attic had a bathroom. That was actually where my mother showered because the bathroom on the second floor, it was a porcelain tub that didn't have a fixed shower. This was a dedicated shower on the attic bathroom. So everywhere except the bathroom had carpet. So we decided to tear that out and get that replaced with plywood. The reason for that was just because we didn't really want anything fancy in the attic, and by then my mother was already looking at the thought of selling the house anyway, because she was getting tired of living there anyway. So she kind of decided, just for the time being, let's just renovate. Maybe the last few years we're here, it can look decent. It can look more modern and updated. So the attic was the first thing we did out of all of the floors. We took out the carpet. Actually, it wasn't us that took out the carpet, but it was us that kind of finished it off. The guy that took out the carpet, his name was Krystover. And I'm not talking about the conventional spelling of Christopher. This man was a Russian. And he spelled his name Krystover. Krystover. But you'd say it Christopher. So he had known about us for many years. He had actually done some housework for my aunt, who lived next door to us, and he had done some little things for us here and there. I think he had done some small maintenance work on the heating system here and there, so that was how he came to know our place, and I believe he had done some other little projects for us here and there. But this was going to be some of his biggest work yet, because he was sort of going to be the guy in charge of the work of getting the house done, or redone. So the first thing we did was he ripped out the carpet, and that took him about a day. And he was like, so do you guys want new carpet? And we said no. And we actually said, we'll finish off the rest ourselves. You can just go do whatever you need to with this old carpet. That old carpet had been there for about 25 or 30 years, I believe. Somewhere in that range. It was a very old and worn out carpet. When I tell you worn out, I mean worn out. So there was this weird, like, rubbery stuff, and then this layer of wood under the carpet. And after that was the plywood. If I had said we were getting it replaced with plywood earlier, I meant to say that we were just going to leave it as the plywood that was under there. We were just leaving it as that plywood. There was the carpet, this weird layer of red rubbery stuff, and then this layer of wood that it sat on, and then there was the plywood. So we would do the rest ourselves. And I also remember this was around the time where I started wearing no, I started wearing glasses in 2011. Yeah. I was just getting the dates confused there. I was thinking of something else. So we had gotten to work and we started tearing out that red stuff, that weird red stuff. That took us about a week to do because some of it was really stuck on there. Then getting the wood off, that additional layer of wood was about another week and a half. And then when we got down to the plywood, we called in Krystover to come back and just inspect it, make sure all the wood was good, make sure we didn't have to replace any of it. He gave us the all clear. Then came the stairs. Now the stairs had their own layer of carpet on them that was it was separate, but it was the same as the rest. Like there was kind of a barrier between that carpet and the carpet of the rest of the attic. We had that taken out too because that carpet was just old and aged, and there was also plywood under those stairs too. But we decided to go a different route with those stairs. What we decided to do was we decided to shine them up. I can't remember if we painted them like this wood color and then shine them up, or if it was the other way around. But either way, in the end, I'm trying to think here. Yeah. But in the end, what we decided to do was, because those stairs were so shined up, they were actually a little slippery. We decided to buy these small little, like, stair carpets. These little, like, one person can stand on it at a time type carpets. I'm not sure what they're called. Someone might know the name of them. But we decided to get those and put one on each stair. They didn't cover the whole step, but they covered just enough to where you could actually step on it and not slip. Because it actually turned out that was kind of a bit of an issue. But so the attic was done, and we moved on to the first floor. After Debbie had moved out, we decided that that floor kind of needed a bit of modernizing because it was a bit weirdly laid out. So what we had done was, to lay it out, there was down the line, I can't remember the number of sections off the top of my head, so I'm just going to name them. In the front, there was the living room, and then kind of connected to that, well, just by, a little overhang type thing, there was where the dining table was, and then there was a hallway connected to that. On the first door on the right was a closet, the second door on the right was a bathroom, and then the first door on the left was a bedroom. And then you go down the hall, and there's the kitchen, which leads to the back of the stairs, or the stairs to the back of the house. And on the left there's also another bedroom, a guest bedroom. So what we decided to do was, the first area, the main living area, didn't have any light. So we decided to get a light fixture put in there. And the area where the dining table would be, I don't know if there was a dining table when Debbie was there, but this is just what it turned out to be. When we got that light fixture installed in the main area, we said, hey, let's get a new light fixture in here, because the light fixtures that were in there, I remember there were four, one towards each corner. No, actually there were three, because, no, there were four. The fourth one was not in the corner, because the door was sort of in the corner between the little wall that separated the two areas. It was like you had this wall sort of separating them, and then the door was right after it. So that light fixture couldn't have gone in that corner. So it was actually right next to the door. I remember now, because the door opened up towards the wall. So there was one on each corner and one next to the door. And these were capable of holding, I believe, just 40-watt incandescent lights. Something along those lines. So we had those switched out for just 2 conventional light fixtures like you see right here. And those lit up quite nicely. The hallway didn't have any problems. The hallway, interestingly enough, was lit up by fluorescent tubing. So we left that. The bathroom was fine. The main bedroom, where my grandparents would soon sleep, we decided to upgrade the fixture. It was, I believe it was only capable of also holding 40-watt incandescent lights, and we decided to get that upgraded to a fixture that could hold 100-watt incandescent lights. And that lit up the room much nicer, and that was also one of the rooms where there was an AC, and then there was also an AC in the dining area, just as a little side note. Then, down in the kitchen was fine, and then the guest bedroom was fine. And we also had to repaint that floor because the paint wasn't bad per se, it was just old and worn. Debbie had been there for many, many years, I believe for about, actually I'm not sure. So I can't really make up any numbers off the top of my head there. But I know she had been there for a while. My mother had told me she had first moved in when the guy who owned the house before us had just moved in. It was him that moved in, and then Debbie moved in like a year or two after. And that guy, I believe, bought the house in about 1980. And he left in 2002. We moved in 2004, and so on. So that was about the time that place was last repainted, so we were told. So that paint was kind of old, and it was nice just to get it fresh white, because some of it did have a bit of sun exposure, and you could tell that it was getting a little cooked. And plus there were holes in the walls from old paintings, some actually minor damage to the walls here and there. I'm not sure what that was about. That was fixed in time. And I remember we were painting that area, and I had the bright idea to, in white, on a white wall, of course, I kind of just painted a little house. I don't know why. I was 8 at the time, so... No, actually I was 7. I was 7 at the time, so I was just goofing around, but eventually I did paint over that more seriously, and that place ended up coming out really, really nicely. So we got all their furniture moved up there. We got the cable connections in. We got the appliances checked out. Everything was fine, and they were able to move into the first floor successfully. So then comes us, at last. Those 2 renovations were done. The attic and the first floor. Those 2 renovations were done by about summer 2010. And we had decided, let's take a little break from the renovations for a while, because school is coming up and we don't really want to interfere with any of that. So we decided that the renovations to our place would start next summer. And that ended up being a very fun story that you're going to see up next. So, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.